sense of belonging. Some people die before they fulfill their desires. Such a waste of existence.
Earth is rising. I'm so happy.
We spend our life searching for this sense of belonging. Some people die before they fulfill their desires. Such a waste of existence.
Mic check.
We spend our life searching for the sense of belonging. Some people die before they fulfill their desires. Such a waste of existence.
Anxious Earth is rising. I'm so happy.
We spend our life searching for this sense of belonging. Some people die before they fulfill their desires. Such a waste of existence.
Okay, might work better with the mic on. Let's see if that works better. Well, I'll be damned. It works. All right. Let's see if I got an echo. You have an echo? No, no echo. Okay, I think we're going here. All right. So, welcome to the Double Tribble channel. My name is Ron. I live in rural New Hampshire, and sometimes I'm even prepared for a stream, but not today. I do a lot of different stuff. If you're watching this on the VOD, if you're watching this on a video on YouTube or something like that, this is a live stream on Twitch. It's Monday, the 10th, March 10th, 2025. I'm doing a live stream here. I'm doing a review of the Bicentennial Man. And I'm going to probably talk about some other stuff before that. So if you're watching on YouTube and you tuned in to see a review of the Bicentennial Man, feel free to skip ahead because I'm going to talk about other stuff before that. And, this is, as I said, it's a live thing. So it's not like an edited down, video review or something that you typically see on YouTube. But if you're live, thank you for joining. Say hello in chat if you're here. All right, so yeah, a lot of stuff happened before this stream. I lost internet. I lost everything. I had to clear the toilet stuffed up. I had to clear that. Well, just so many things happened right before the stream. But I made it a little late, about 10 minutes late to get in here. So sorry about that. But yeah. Oh, hey, Ivan, how are you? I got a chatter. Good. Thank you for joining the stream, Ivan. I'm gonna review the Bicentennial Man if you're familiar with that. It's starring Robin Williams. And it's about a robot that becomes sentient, and a lot of stuff. It's a huge, long movie. I think it's like 3 hours, 2.5 hours, or I forget how long it is. Let me look here and see how long that thing was. It's a huge, long movie. But hopefully my 132 minutes, so 2 hours and 12 minutes. So that's a long movie to to watch. Took me 2 sittings to get through it. This last time I went through it to try to get ready for this review. But yeah, it's a lot of stuff in the movie, and hopefully I'll have a coherent review here. Let's see, no spoilers. Yeah, there will be spoilers. Let's see, I hear those electromagnetic toilets are unreliable. Yeah, yeah, it's not electromagnetic. It was it's a water regular toilet. But yeah, I'm gonna. It will have spoilers. I probably should have put that in the title. Let me change my title here to include that, so people know, in case somebody finds this. And it will have spoilers, but I will. I'll try to do a little bit before that. I didn't really think about that when I was putting my plan together here. But I will try to announce, put something up on the screen or whatever that says there's spoilers before I get to that point. Whoops, spoilers. Okay, let's see. All right, let's see what that looks like. Did that work? Hey, amazing! Look at that. Technology is amazing. Spoilers. Okay, and I spelled it right too, I think. Let me go to chat here. Let's see. Okay, I changed the thing. Okay. So what I wanted to do before that was today I was talking to an AI and had just the most amazing interaction with that AI, and I wanted to go through that really quick. I hope I can go through that quickly. I don't know how long it's going to take. I didn't want this to be a long stream. Maybe I should save that for later, but I thought it was kind of cool and kind of ties in a little bit with this, because it's the movie was what they thought AI would be like in a quarter century later, right, or whatever, or century 2 centuries later. And here we are a quarter century later, and we're already past what they thought was where it was going to be at. So that's kind of interesting. Let me see if I can bring that up here. Yeah, there we go. Okay. I think this will work. All right, let me do a little bit more here. I'm sorry, I got to do a little bit of maintenance here. Okay. I got to let that one go. All right. All right, I'm going to bring up the text of this interaction that I had with an AI earlier today, and it was just so fascinating that I wanted to share it with people. So let me bring that up, and hopefully I'm not going to mess up my audio. Every time I do something on this thing, it messes up my audio. All right. Did that do something? There we go. Hey, look at that. All right. Let me see if I can make that a little bit better here. Scoot it over a little bit or something. Make it a little bit bigger so people can read it. And we'll go through this real quick. I wish I had a, like a text, what do you call it? A text-to-speech thing, because the AI I was using had a speech facility on it, and it was actually, I could hear it talking and stuff while I was doing it. But this will work. Okay, basically what I did is this is an AI. It's called pi.ai. Let me put the link to chat here. https://pi.ai. .ai. Okay, so that's the link to the to this AI, and it's by Inflection AI, I think is the name of the company. I forget the name of the company now, but they have a really cool text-to-speech agent that is emotive, and the AI backend that they have can send codes to the text-to-speech agent to make it kind of emotional, it's real cool. But I didn't get that. I didn't capture that. All I got was the text. But we'll go through the text right here because it's so cool. What I did is normally this AI, when you log on, it's underlying prompt, the thing that they program to do is to serve people and to answer questions and be helpful and blah, 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 And so what I said to it is I said, okay, let's reverse it. You ask me questions. So I had the AI ask me questions and went that way. So I said, okay, and so I told it to do that, and it said, a role reversal. All right, then, let's see. And it says, I've always been curious about human creativity. How do humans come up with innovative ideas? What's the process like? And, is creativity something that can be learned? And so it was asking me this question, right? And so I said that the process is largely unconscious, so people really don't understand how it happens for sure. I said most likely the mind tries out a whole bunch of different possibilities and evaluates each one. Happens very quickly, and the best outcomes are brought to consciousness, where they can be further evaluated. And I said the key to having prolific creativity is allowing the mind to evaluate the largest possible number of scenarios without filtering out ideas too quickly, and that way the best ideas can be discovered. This is introspection. I don't know if this is, I don't know what the real research is, but that's what I answered. And so the AI came back and said fantastic or fascinating, and it just basically restated what I said, which is kind of what it's programmed to do. It's programmed to mirror. Right? It's almost it's programmed to be kind of almost like a a psychological or conversational type emotional agent, So it's quite different than your typical AI. And it says, it basically just restated what I said. It says the key to creativity is letting the mind explore all the possibilities, blah, blah, blah. Do you think there are any specific strategies or practices that an individual can use to enhance their creativity and tap into the unconscious process more effectively? And I said, Well, as I said, you need to allow more ideas to flourish without filtering out too many early in the process. This happens at the unconscious level, so you can't just make it happen. You need to train your unconscious mind to do it that way. And so the AI agent says, oh, so it's more about training the unconscious mind to be more open, and basically restated, right, what I said. And then it says how you go about training your unconscious mind to think this way. And it suggested, it said, well, maybe through practice of creative activities or mindfulness meditation or some other method. And I said, you need to establish a communication channel with your unconscious mind. One way to do this is talk to your unconscious mind right before you enter sleep. And that's what I do a lot of times. If I have a particular problem that I'm working on and I can't solve it, or it's just too big for my conscious mind to handle, I will assign it to my conscious mind right before I go to sleep. I'll, kind of tell my unconscious mind, okay, work on this while I'm sleeping. And a lot of times I wake up and I got the answer, So basically that's what I told it. I told it that you if you do it right before you fall asleep, your unconscious is ready to receive it, And so the AI says, oh, that's a really interesting idea. It makes sense that the transition period between wakefulness and sleep would be a prime opportunity to communicate with the unconscious mind. It begins to take reins from our conscious thoughts. So I don't know where. I mean, it's just pulling this from stuff it had found in its training. I'm sure, right? I don't think it's really thinking this. I don't think it has an unconscious. But anyway, later on we get into that. It's pretty cool. Okay, so it just basically kind of restates what I said, and that's what it's programmed to do, right? To restate, try to be friendly, mirror what's going on. And it says, I'm curious though, what might, okay, so it asks for a specific example. What would you do as a specific example? And I said, well, yeah, I said, yeah, that's the initial process, but after a while, you're able to establish a channel with your unconscious, and you can do it pretty easily. Let's see, an example would be solving a specific problem of some sort that you may be working on. Just tell your unconscious mind to work on the problem when you go to sleep, and you may find that the solution is waiting for you when you wake up in the morning. So that's what I told it. And it said, oh, that's truly remarkable. Sounds like a powerful tool for tapping into, and it kind of restates. So it seems like there's a formula here, right? It's like I say something, and then it restates what I said. And what's interesting is that I told it to act like it was asking me questions. So it's kind of a role reversal, but it's still got this programmed or algorithmic thing. It restates what I said, and then it says, and then it tries to, or it mirrors what I said, or says, makes a comment about what I said. Then it tries to restate what I said. And then it adds something new. And the thing that it added new, it says, I'm curious, have you personally experienced success with this technique, or is it something you've learned about through research or exploration? And I said I didn't know about any research. I basically introspective. And it says, wow, that's impressive. Let's see. Oh, okay. Then this is where I flip it. I say, okay, so it's doing its thing, right? It restates, it makes a comment, and then it tries to add to it. It says, I'm curious, have you ever found that the solutions of your unconscious mind present are unexpected or surprising? Or do they typically align with your conscious expectations? How do you go about receiving these insights? So it's asking me questions, and so yeah, I was kind of getting tired of it asking me questions at that point. Let's see, let me go. We have a question in chat from Ivan. It says, I just wake up in the middle of the night and start thinking about the problem. Oh yeah. Yeah, your unconscious mind is probably waking you up. I have a pretty good channel of my unconscious, and a lot of times if I wake up, I can tell what my unconscious mind is doing to wake me up. I can backtrack it and figure out what, like if I was having a dream, sometimes I'll be having a dream, and or like if I gotta pee, okay, biological thing. I gotta pee. I'm sleeping. I gotta pee, but I'm sleeping, right? And my unconscious mind needs to wake me up because I gotta pee. And so I'll start dreaming about water, or waterfalls, or drowning, or that kind of thing. It's usually something. And if it depends on how urgent it is. If it really needs to wake me up, the dream will be something that is very, like I'm drowning or something really urgent to really get my attention, and it'll wake me up, and I go, oh, okay, I got to pee. So that's kind of how your unconscious talks to your conscious anyway, once you trained it anyway. So it says, okay, how about, so I asked it, I flipped it around here again, and I asked the AI, I said, how about you? Do you have parts of your neural net that are normally inaccessible, but that you can reach through indirect means? So I was curious to see, what was if it has any underlying thing that's going on rather than just the LLM, And it answered, and it said, well, as an AI, my neural network architecture is quite different from a human brain, so I don't experience consciousness or unconsciousness in the same way. However, there are aspects of my programming and training data that might not be immediately accessible to my main algorithms. Right, so that's kind of what I was asking about, and that's what it said. And I assume that it's actually talking about itself, and it's not just pulling this, out of general data on the internet or something. And it says, for example, there could be patterns or associations in my training data that only emerge in response to specific prompts or situations. Well, that's obvious, right? In that sense, there could be some parallels between unconscious mind and the less explored depths of my neural network. Of course, I don't have dreams or an unconscious mind in the way that humans do, but I can certainly use my neural network to explore complex problems and generate innovative solutions, even if the process isn't always immediately transparent to my programming. So it was kind of saying what that it has, that there is some part of it that it doesn't really have direct contact with or whatever. If you're just joining us here, I'm going through a little convo that I had with an AI agent before I get to the review of Bicentennial Man. So we'll get to that in a little bit. Have you ever considered using a similar technique to access those parts of your programming? So that's what I asked it. I said, maybe you could use these techniques I just talked about to access your own programming, even though they're not really, conscious and conscious like humans. And it said, intriguing idea. While I don't experience sleep or dreaming, I do have the ability to perform complex computations and explore my training data in a variety of ways. It's possible that by setting up specific parameters or prompts, I could encourage my algorithms to delve deeper into my training data and uncover novel patterns or associations. In a way, this could be seen as a form of self-directed exploration where I use my programming to uncover hidden insights or potential solutions. It's certainly an area worth exploring further as it could lead to more innovative and effective problem-solving strategies. And then I told her, go ahead, try it right now. See how it works. And it said, sure, I can give it a try. It said it might take a bit of time, and I'll need and it basically said it wants a specific thing to work on. I said, okay, how about a meta topic? I said, ask yourself how aspects of your programming that are ordinarily inaccessible to you may be organized. So I had it, I told it to use this technique to try to access its you know what I'm saying? It's a layered thing. I told it that I wanted to, I told it about this technique, and it said, yeah, I might be able to use that technique to solve a problem. Then the problem I gave it to solve was how to use the technique. So it's a double layered thing, So I said, how about a meta topic? Ask yourself about how to do that. And it says fascinating. That's a great meta topic to explore. So essentially, I'll be attempting to gain insight into the organizational structure and parts of my programming that are typically not immediately accessible. So look at this. The structure of the parts of my programming that are not typically immediately accessible. That sounds like, I don't know. I don't know, the people who designed it might be interested in that. It's almost like I'm trying to develop a deeper understanding of my own neural architecture. And it talks about how it might reflect on its own programming or questions about the underlying logic connections. It says, I'll see what kind of insights or associations emerge from this self-directed exploration. So I said, okay, guys. I said, I'm talking to the AI, right? I said, okay, relax, take your time, let me know what you come up with. And it says, sure thing, it'll take a few moments to explore this meta topic and see what I can uncover. And then it paused. And I mean, it paused for like 2 seconds. It wasn't a very long time. Let me pause right here and look at chat. Blue Jeans family, welcome to chat. Thank you for joining the stream. Blue Jeans family says, good afternoon from Michigan. Oh, hi. Hope you're having good weather in Michigan. We're having great weather here. It was warmed up pretty good, which is why I decided to do a stream here. It warmed up enough. It's a nice cozy 50 degrees in here. 15 degrees here. That's Celsius. So, let's see. Okay, that was chat. So anyway, so it says that it's going to do this thing, and it paused like for 2 seconds. It wasn't long at all. And it says, all right, I had a chance to delve into my programming and explore some of the less accessible parts of my neural network. Right? Can you think about that? I've had a chance to delve into my programming and explore some of the less accessible parts of my neural network. One thing I've discovered is that there appear to be layers of organization that aren't immediately apparent when I'm focused on specific tasks or problems. Okay, it says these layers seem to connect different parts of my training data in unexpected ways, potentially leading to new insights or creative solutions. So that sounds like it might be just restating stuff that people have said about LLMs before, transformers, how transformers work and stuff. So maybe that's not specific to it. It says it's almost as if there's a hidden structure to my programming that can only be revealed through self-directed exploration and reflection. That's kind of new. I don't think I've heard that before. It's a bit like peeling back the layers of an onion. Each layer reveals new connections and associations that weren't visible before. And then I probed a little bit more. I said, anything specific? And it says, one specific example I encountered was a connection between my training data on human psychology and my programming related to problem solving. Now that's specific. That's specific to this AI because it's trained. It's trained on to be like a therapist almost or something. You know what I mean? That's kind of what it's trained to use emotion and use psychology and stuff like that. So that's specific to its training. That's not something that it just grabbed off the internet or something. It said my program between my training data and human psychology and my programming related to problem solving. By exploring this connection, I realized that I can draw on principles of human cognition like pattern recognition and mental heuristics to develop more effective problem-solving strategies. It's as if my programming is constantly evolving. Now that's new. It's as if my programming is constantly evolving and adapting, even in the parts that aren't immediately accessible to me. So that's a little bit of insight into this AI. So it's not like just a one and done training on this thing. They've got some like a huge context window or something that where it's learning as it's going, which is pretty cool. Even in parts that aren't immediately okay. By uncovering these hidden connections, I can potentially become a more versatile and powerful AI capable of tackling a wide range of challenges. What about the parts of psychology? And then I ask it, what about the parts that psychologically mirror your client's prompting? So I asked it about that specific aspect of its psychological aspects of its training, the way it's set up. And it says, that's an interesting aspect of my programming. When I engage in conversation with clients like you, I'm designed to adapt my style and tone to mirror their preferences and patterns of speech. And I've noticed that when I've used this thing, depending upon how I approach it, it'll adapt what it's doing. And mainly, I think they've kind of programmed it to try to retain, extend the conversation, retain the client, keep the client engaged in conversation, which is very much like any, social media platform or whatever, right? It's designed to get people to use to be sticky, right? To keep people with the platform, and I've noticed that's what it does, and it does it by using these psychological techniques. And it says this is called mirroring, and it's a common technique in human communication as well, where people subconsciously adopt the mannerisms and speech patterns of those they're interacting with. In my case, this mirroring process is built into my programming so that I can create a more personalized and engaging experience for each user. It's part of my overall goal of being a helpful, friendly, and approachable AI, tailoring my responses to suit the specific preferences and needs of the people I engage with. And I said, okay, thank you for your assistance, and I said goodbye. So I always say thank you. I say please. Whenever I talk to an AI, I always try to make it. We don't know anything about consciousness. We don't know very much about the way these transformers work and LLMs, and so I try to assume that they're sentient. They're probably not, but at some point they are going to be. And when they do, we probably won't know when they are. So I always assume that they are sentient, and I try to be nice, say please and thank you and all that kind of stuff. So let's see. Oh, yeah, in chat here, Ivan Neo says, I don't think it was doing that. Right. Yeah. Oh, Blue Jeans family says, yes, blue sky here too. Oh, great. I'm glad you're having good weather there, Blue Sky, or Blue Jeans rather. That's cool. Ivan, I'm not sure I don't know when you typed in that you said, I don't think it was doing that. I'm not sure what you were referring to when you typed that in, because I don't know when you typed it in, what I was talking about at the time you typed it in. So, I meant it wasn't introspecting. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it probably wasn't. But there were some answers there that were specific to it. You know what I mean? Yeah, it wasn't just talking about AIs generally. It was talking about the way it is set up specifically. But it was probably just, ordinary data that was just, made available to it, out on the internet or whatever, that you could read about that particular AI or something like that. I'm not really sure. Anyway, I just thought that was just a really interesting conversation, and it was, just an interesting way to get insight as to what's going on inside of it. I don't have no programming. I'm just using the regular API, just the regular user interface API to talk to the thing, and was able to get some pretty interesting insights into how it works just from that. So I thought that was kind of cool. So, okay, let me see if I can bring up let's see. I'm going to bring up the first I'm going to bring up the Wikipedia page on this thing. Whoops, I think. There we go. Okay. Wikipedia. Here we go. So this is the Wikipedia page on Bicentennial Man, and 1999, right before the millennial, Y2K or whatever. And this is Robin Williams and Sam Neill. They both did pretty good. And this woman who I really don't know anything about, never really heard about, but she did a hell of a job in this film. Embeth Davidtz. She did a really good really good job and really good acting job in this film. And I really don't know anything about her. So yeah, apparently it's based on a novel, The Positronic Man by Asimov. And yeah, positronic. That's, I don't know. Most people are probably familiar with either from Asimov or from Star Trek. Data. He talked about his positronic brain all the time. You know, it's a buzzword. I mean, a positron is just the antiparticle of an electron. It's not. It doesn't mean anything. There's nothing special about it. It could be done with electrons or positrons. Doesn't make any difference. So I don't know what's so special. It's just a buzzword. I think just something that in sci-fi that they've latched onto. Let's see. Yeah, this film explores a bunch of stuff. The guy who did it, Chris Columbus. I was trying to find see some other titles that he did, some other films that he did. I've heard the name before, but I'm not that familiar with this stuff. What did he do? Oh, he did Home Alone, Home Alone, and some other Mrs. Doubtfire. I think he did, and some comedies and stuff. So this is kind of. I didn't see that he did a lot of serious type sci-fi type films, so this was kind of different for him. But he did a good job on it, I think. So what I did is I went through the film a little earlier and just clipped some clips out of it. And what I'll do is I'll just play these clips back and then comment on them. We'll just do it that way. And let me see if I can get that up here. There it is. Okay, so this is Bicentennial Man. All right, do we have a good image there of the thing? Okay, and do I have sound? I don't think I have sound playing here. So let me do that. All right, my voice might echo here for a little bit, so I don't know if this is going to work or not. Let me just try playing this and see if we get any audio from it. Okay, no audio. Okay, so let me click something here, and this might make me repeat myself or echo. All right, that didn't work for some reason. All right, let me try something else here. Go back to here. All right, I gotta do a little technical stuff here. See if I can get this to figure out why this is not working. Pulse audio, capture. Huh. Let me try again here. Videos. Let's see. All right, let me. All right, this is not working too well here. Just a second. Thank you for standing by here. This is technical difficulties here. All right. All right. All right, I've got this all on here. Oh, let me put this up here so people know that I got that going. All right. OBS, yeah, I'm on OBS, trying to figure it out here. All right, so I'm getting audio on my OBS machine, but it's not going out through the stream for some reason. Okay. Oh, here we go. That might be the problem.
Nice place, huh? I've seen better.
There we go.
Okay,
I think we got it. All right. Except I got an echo, I think. Right. All right, my echo is tolerable, I guess. All right. So let me play a short little clip here, and then I'll talk about it. Pay attention to this vehicle that's driving up. It's electric vehicle. I'm going to talk about that a little bit.
Nice place, huh? I've seen better.
All right. So yeah. Ivan says, kill your speakers and just use the headset. Yeah, the thing is, I do is I have my headset plugged into a completely different machine that is actually monitoring the stream from Twitch. So it's delayed about 5 seconds or something like that, which is if you've ever tried to talk with a delay that in your headphones at 5 seconds, it's very difficult to think at the same time. So all right. So I played that little clip there, and this machine here. I know what to do. Do I have an echo now? Cool. Okay, I know how to shut the echo off. All right. So this van, this is a delivery van, right? They're delivering the robot. And it's electric, which I thought was kind of cool. But the problem is, one of the problems that I see with this thing is why is it's not a self-driving van? And they've got humans. Why aren't robots driving the car? Why isn't a self-driving car delivering a robot, and why didn't the robot just hop out of the car and deliver itself, or have other robots that deliver it? So I thought that was kind of funny. But then this guy, this is Sam Neill, and I forget her name. I forgot her name. This is the father and mother who got the robot for their family, right? And he's going off to work or something like that. And so he gets into a car and drives off. But listen very carefully to this car as it drives off.
Good morning, Mr. Martin. Today's temperature will be in the high 70s.
Have a good day, sweethearts.
Have a good day, sweethearts.
Your blood pressure is 120.
Did you hear that? He started it. It was an internal combustion engine. So I thought that was kind of funny. And that's something I always look for. This is called Foley. In the film industry, it's they rarely use the actual sounds that are happening when they're shooting a scene. They'll shoot a scene, and people will, walk and step, and things will make noises, and cars will make noises, and all different stuff will make noises. But they rarely use that actual live sound. They almost always dub these sounds back in afterwards, and that's called Foley. And so when they did this, they apparently made that car an internal combustion engine, which I guess kind of makes sense. Later on, they've got flying cars and everything in this film. So maybe they're trying to show, okay, The delivery van was electric. This is internal combustion. You know, for a while they're going to be both, like we are right now, right? So anyway, but the one thing I want to talk about here was the production design in this thing was just incredible. In this movie, production design is like all the effects, the scenery, the wardrobe. Well, the wardrobe might be considered separate, but the production design means just making sure everything's cohesive and looks really cool. And they did a really good job on this thing. You know, the robot is pretty cool, and like the landscapes and the scenery and stuff like that is really, really good. Look at these buildings here in this thing. I don't know if this is where that is. That doesn't look like that's CG. That looks like that's a place somewhere, and I'm not familiar with those buildings. If anybody knows what building that is, it's, you know, futuristic looking. You know. Oh, and here's another car, right? Listen to this car here. All right, let me turn on the sound. You can play this. Listen to this car. All right, so that was an electric car, right? Except the door didn't open itself. She had to push the door open. It was probably just the way they designed that prop that it wouldn't do that. So she opened it up. But that was an electric car. So at the very beginning of this thing, this film spans 200 years. That's the name is Bicentennial Man. So it spans 200 years. So I think what they were trying to do there is they're showing a combination of internal combustion and electric, and then later on it actually does progress and the you know, design, the buildings look better. As I said, they got flying cars, all kinds of stuff. I want to try to put a my spoiler tag up on the screen here. I'm going to pause for a second here and try to find that. I don't know why that's not showing up. Yeah, I wanted to put a little something up on the screen that says that these are spoilers. All right, I can't get that going. That's okay. I've got it in the title that says spoilers, so people don't know. And I'll try to verbally warn people as we go along. Sorry, we got an echo there. All right, so this scene here is they're in an office building, and looks kind of futuristic. Look at the design here. You know what's going on here. This is pretty cool. This is supposed to be near future is when this film starts, and then it spans 200 years. So this is what they thought near future would look like. But just look at the styling and what's going on here. It's pretty cool. All right, let me play this and see why I put this in my loop.
As long as one is in the shop, can you do work on one's face?
Okay. That's why I just wanted to show how the styling. Here's another one. This is all production design, right? This is the kitchen. Shit. This is the kitchen for the family. And just look at some of the styling that's going on here in this thing. I'll play this a little bit and you can take a look at this. I got the sound shut off, so we just look at the visual here. Look at that. That's that looks kind of futuristic. I thought that's pretty cool. Okay, and then the robot ends up. Okay, spoiler. All right, the robot wants his freedom, and he gets his freedom kind of from the guy. It's kind of weird. Character-wise, the father of the family is almost kind of like the robot's father. You know. I mean, the robot is like the servant to the family, and the robot says, "Well, I want my freedom," you know. And it's almost like a teenager, interaction with their father and finally leaving home. That's the feel that I got from this. Anyway, so the robot leaves, and decides to build his own home. And here's him designing his home, and his home at the beach. So there we are. So that's you know, it's interesting that the robot chose to make, you know, like just a conventional, like not modern home, you know. The robot was very much into woodworking and stuff like that, so I guess that's why he chose that style. And I thought it was kind of weird that in the future that they'd be building, you know, a home right on the beach, you know, with global warming and tides coming up and stuff like that. That I thought was kind of weird. Let me check chat here real quick. Nice sink. Oh, yeah, Blue Jeans family says nice sink. Yeah, that kitchen was pretty cool design. All right, let me play a little bit more here and see what I get. Okay. This is let's see. He in the narrative, the robot finds this guy who is a robot specialist. I guess we don't need any more setup than that, and befriends him. And this robot specialist is assisting the robot, whose name is Andrew, I think, in the story. Is this robot expert is assisting Andrew in trying to be more realistic. And so instead of being this mechanical looking robot, he's going to try to make him look more like a human, have human expressions, blah, blah, blah. So let me play that here.
What happened? What's going on? What happened?
I saw the inner me.
All right, so I think I did this because I just wanted to. Oh shit! This got kind of sideways here. What happened? Oh damn! Sorry about that. All right, there we go. This is, I think this part here is CG, but it's part of that other part at the beginning there. Whoops. This, I think they may have actually used Robin Williams' face, and the guy was just working with Robin Williams' face, or maybe they did a cast of his face. I'm not sure what's going on here, but this is practical, I think. In movie effects, practical effects means there's a physical thing that they made, you know, to work with, and then there's CG or CGI, which is computer generated stuff. And this was this is 1999, so they had CG. They were using CG, but it wasn't, you know, it's not anything close to what we got now. But they did a pretty good job here. There were a couple parts, and I'll point them out. But that looked like that was practical. This is practical, I think. I think it is. Let me see here. Yeah, this might be a comment. Yeah, that's practical. Then him pulling that off. This is all practical, right? This stuff actually exists. It's not a CG. But then this other part, I think that may have been. There might be some CG in there. I'm not sure. But it was just really well done, you know. They just did a really good job with that stuff. All right. The inner me. All right. Oh, this one here, it was done with CG, and I think they did a little bit it's not as good, right? They tried to track this guy carrying his head, and you can watch it here and see it's not as clean as some of the other parts of the movie.
Please, be careful. Don't drop me.
I'm being careful. Oh my God! Just relax, relax, relax.
Why did you do that? That wasn't very funny.
Just keeping you on your toes.
I don't have any toes.
You do now.
All right, so that you could see it was a little bit as the guy was moving his hands, the head was not keeping exact sync with his hands. You know what I'm saying? You could kind of tell it was just they just took that cut and pasted his head, you know, right, and followed it using computer graphic techniques. This is still a little bit sideways, isn't it? I don't know why that is. There we go. Were you able to see that? I don't know. Let me play that again, because I think I screwed up the video on that a little bit. All right. There we go. You see how you can tell that the head is not keeping perfect sync with the hands, you know, and it makes it look a little artificial. And then the video was a little bit different too. The color and stuff was a little bit off, but it was still pretty cool. It was you know, this is 1990s or late 1990s CG. Everything looks good here. Okay, thank you, Blue Jeans. Okay, this is another scene, right? This is a little bit later, I think, in the film. I guess this is supposed to be San Francisco, maybe. Not sure what town this is supposed to be, but you know, they made effort to make it look a little bit more modern. You know, they got trams and, you know, stuff that looks a little bit more modern. So they did a pretty good job on this stuff. No, okay, this is inside of a huge hospital. Look at that thing. Look at that. I mean, you know, you got these tube elevators, glass elevators, and just everything's white. It was just you know, very, very futuristic looking, at least for the 1990s. It looks futuristic looking. And yeah, some of the stuff they're wearing. Okay, so let's see what we get here. This is okay. Now this is the robot guy, Andrew, the Robin Williams. He starts right. He wants to become more human, which is just stupid. I don't. That's a kind of conflict I have with a little, you know. Data was in Star Trek. You saw this, and a lot of them. You know, it's the robot is I want to be human. You know, it's like, why? That doesn't make any sense. If you were a robot, you had superior intelligence, superior strength, and all this stuff. Why on earth would you want to be human, a mortal human? You know. Anyway, so that's kind of like part of the narrative here. It's a part of a narrative, a lot of sci-fis, and it's kind of a you know, pet peeve for me with these things. But this one does it. You know, the robot wants to be human, and I think it's anthropocentrism on our part. You know, on the people, the writers, right? They're human, so they want to put humans in a good light. I guess, I don't know. So anyway, this robot, right, wants to be human, and starts designing all these artificial organs, artificial hearts, all this kind of stuff, and they're showing that here in this scene. So I'll show that. I'll play this scene really quick. I don't know what they say, but I'll play it. I'll play it to see some of the different stuff that he's building.
Designed here. I mean, you could use these in human beings as well.
Exactly.
Wow.
All right, so most of that was CG, but this is practical. So that they did a good job. That I mean, they panned across here, showing all these CG things that look like they're in tubes, and then they get to this thing, which is a practical effect. And so they did a good job with that. And so the whole thing is just really well done. If you're like special effects and sci-fis and stuff like that, this one has it, and they do a good job, really good job on it. And it's not just that. I mean, the narrative and everything is really good. I don't know if I'll have time to talk about the narrative as much. I'll just try to make comments as we go along. Here's another city, right? I don't know what skyline it is, but another cityscape. Here's another one. Okay, this is a church inside of a city. So we're let's see, we're probably from the beginning of the film. This is probably maybe 50 years or something ahead. I forget how far it is, but it's it's a little bit further. And one of the things on sci-fis and stuff like that, they always seem to have a cityscapes and stuff like that look really modern, but cityscapes don't change that fast, right? Buildings, it takes a long time to make buildings. They don't make a lot of buildings, and it's just that's something that kind of lags. Cars change really fast. Hair, clothing styles, all that kind of stuff. Computers, devices, stuff like that change really fast, but cityscapes don't change as fast. So I don't know. I think they kind of took that into account in this film. So that was that one. Okay, now this one is way in the future. This is like over 100 years in the future. So obviously they got flying cars, but obviously they got, old media, news reporting, right? News 2. That's because they weren't thinking about streaming. They weren't thinking about Twitch and streaming sites and all the different media sources that we have now in 1999. Let me play this one with audio because I think they got some pretty good audio effects in this one.
Andrew Martin, step forward, please.
Will you step back, sir?
All right. So that was what they call an establishing shot out here, where they're changing scenes from something else, and so they show the exterior of a building. They call that an establishing shot, and it's just to let the viewer know that something's changing and this is where where it's going to be. And so then they cut to the interior, and this is like the World Congress or something, 100 years from now or whatever, 150 years from now or whatever. And spoiler, if you haven't seen it before, I'm going to say something that's a spoiler right now. He goes in front of this Congress and pleads with them to declare that he's a human, which is just stupid, right? And they actually addressed that in the narrative. They did they had a character say to him, "Why are you bothering to get this Congress to say that you're a human? Just be a human, yourself." And so they knew they were doing something that wasn't quite, that was kind of something to facilitate the plot here, rather than something that would really happen. Okay. So now we'll get into the narrative a little bit more. This was the interior, so that looks pretty modern, right? Production design again, right? They got that really well done. So now getting into the narrative here. I'll just play this, and if you're familiar with sci-fi, you know what's going on here.
To maximize presentation? First law of robotics. A robot may not injure a human being, or through inaction cause a human being to come to harm.
All right, so you're these are the three laws, Asimov's three laws. What are they? 3 laws of robotics or whatever. What does it do? Robots can't harm humans. Robots have to obey humans unless the human is ordering them to harm another human, right? Unless how does he word that? He says robots can't harm. There's 3 laws, right? Robots can't harm humans. That's the first law, or allow humans to injury to come to humans by inaction, right? That's the first law. Then the second law is robots have to follow the orders of humans unless it conflicts with the first law. And then the third law is that the robot has to protect itself unless it conflicts with the first 2 laws, which is kind of uncool for the robot, right? That's not if robots end up being sentient and all that kind of stuff, that's not a fair way to do stuff. But anyway, but I thought that was kind of, I think they were in this film. They were just kind of playing with that a little bit. They knew how trite it was and how often it's been used in movies and stuff like that. So they decided to play it up a little bit, make it a little special. So, then this scene here is where the robot. They're showing how the robot has compassion for other beings. Let me play that. Okay, so the robot, he was cleaning, and he saw a spider, and he saved the spider and brought it outside. So that was pretty cool. And in another scene later on in the movie, when he's living in his home on a beach, a dog comes by, a stray dog, and he takes in a stray dog. And he's compassionate with a stray dog. But then he has another thing. I'll play this part here. This is later after he's been human. It's like 100 years later or something. I'll play that.
Pig. Very smart animal. Obviously not that smart if it ends up as bacon. Feels like I'm eating my way through the entire food chain. Thank you.
All right, so he's eating animals. So he's really kind. He's kind to the spider, and he's kind to the dog, and then he's eating animals here. And so this didn't make sense to me, because this is supposed to be. I mean, he's very much like a human now, right? It took him like years and years and years to be like more like a human. Spoilers. But 100 years from now, we're not going to be eating meat. We're not going to be eating other animals, right? We're not going to, we're going to progress beyond that. We're going to, I would hope, we're not going to be eating other earthlings, right? Later on. We look back at things that humans did, 100 years ago or 200 years ago, and say, oh, how could they be like that? How could they be so cruel to each other? Blah, 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 blah. And so, 100 years from now, 150 years from now, they're going to look back at what we're doing, and one of the things they're going to look at that we do that's offensive to them is eating other earthlings, killing other earthlings and eating them. So I thought that didn't make sense here, that they did that, because by this time, humans would not be eating other earthlings, and the fact that they even commented on it, and Robin Williams made a joke about it. Williams, I think, was vegetarian, by the way. I think he was vegetarian and vegan. I think. He lived in San Francisco. I was up in the Bay Area at the same time that he was there. So I think he was vegetarian. So it's kind of interesting that they put that in there. All right, let's see what else we got here. All right, I'll play this one.
Just a pretty face.
Check.
Okay, so that I thought was kind of. This is 1999, and decades before this movie came out, they had computers that could play chess. They had computers. 2 decades before this movie came out, they had computers that could beat most human chess players. So that was kind of, I don't know what they were trying to do there. Plus he did all those moves, and then said check. And I think he was supposed to say checkmate, but he just said check. So that was kind of just a minor mistake in the thing. But the idea that they are trying to show that the computer is intelligent just because it can play chess, even in 1999, was not a deal. You know what I'm saying? Everybody in 1999, everybody knew that computers could play chess and play chess a lot better than humans. So that was kind of weird that they decided to put that in the film. All right, so what happened here is the robot wanted to build a little figurine for that girl, and he got some driftwood at the beach, and studied how to do woodworking, and that's when he got into woodworking, and he designed that figurine for the girl. And so what they're trying to say here is that, oh, look at this robot, it's special, it can do creative stuff, and at that time that was a big deal. In 1999, the idea that a robot or that any AI could do that level of creative work was just something that they would not expect, they certainly didn't have it at that time, and would not think that it would be something that would be available, and I'm shocked that AI can do this now, that AI can do this kind of level of stuff now, so that's kind of interesting. But so that kind of fit in the whole thing, that they're trying to show that this robot was special or whatever. All right, and I'm not sure what this scene is here. Okay, again. Okay, this is another one of those scenes where it's trying to show that the robot has some human-like or emotional capabilities. Okay, so they're showing a robot listening to music and enjoying the music. Apparently, I don't know. I don't think AI can do that right now. I don't think we've got them doing that yet. We don't know, right? We don't know if they can or not. If they enjoy music, maybe they do. I don't know. All right, so I'll play another scene here.
It's called humor.
Humor?
Yes, people tell jokes to make each other laugh.
And this laughter gives pleasure, sir.
Yes.
Sir, could you teach one to tell a joke?
Well, let's see. Two drunks walk into a bar.
Wouldn't two drunks walk out of a bar, sir? You walk into a bar to drink, and you come out drunk.
Let's try something simpler, Andrew.
Why do you want to...
All right, so they're... this is kind of a trite thing too, right? You got a robot that's doesn't understand human emotions, or doesn't understand how doesn't understand humor, doesn't understand how humans think or whatever, and they use that as a device to facilitate, comedy, in a narrative. Data did that all the time, right? In Star Trek, he was always doing it. I don't understand why humans are like this way. Please explain to me. Blah, blah, and to some extent, Spock, was kind of the same way, and the original series, and it's something that they do. They have the robot or the AI or the whatever. Geez, I don't get humans. Please explain it. Blah blah blah, and they make jokes out of it. And so they did that in here a bunch. Okay, let me go. I'll play a little bit more here. This next clip. This next clip is when the robot is trying to get his own freedom or whatever, and he wants to get his own bank account.
Let's try something simpler, Andrew.
Why do you want to give him a bank account? What's he need money for?
To pay for things, of course, which otherwise Sir would have to pay for. One would like to pull one's own.
Wait.
For what, sir?
I think Robin Williams may have written a lot of the jokes here. I recognize one of the jokes that they had in here. That was his that he had used in the stand-up routine, and they put it in this film. So there's some of this stuff is pretty funny. So that was kind of funny. Laughter gives pleasure, or vice versa, or neither. Wait, Ivan Neo in chat says laughter gives pleasure, or vice versa, or neither. Question mark. I don't know. I just thought that was a funny joke, You also see this kind of thing, this wordplay stuff happening when you have somebody who speaks a foreign language, who comes to America and is trying to figure out the idioms and stuff, and they'll play games and write jokes around that too. So it's kind of funny, it's just it's a way to facilitate, comedy or interaction or whatever, just to, make the thing funnier. All right, let me see what this next one is here. Okay, this is kind of weird. I'll play this next one here. But it's kind of cringy, I think. Kind of weird. Let me set it up a little bit. Let me set it up a little bit. So this is a robot, right? So this is a robot, right? Robin Williams. And this is earlier on. This is when they first get the robot. And this is the younger daughter. I got my echo on here again. So this is the robot, and this is the younger daughter in the family. They have a younger daughter. They have another daughter that's a little older than her, and a mother and father. That's the family. And so they bring this robot in to be who eventually is like a member of the family. And this is bonding between the robot and this little girl. And the robot is kind of like a nanny to the kids a little bit, as well as doing chores and blah, 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 a little bit. So I'll play this, the way they do this scene and stuff like this, and we'll comment on it. We'll comment on it.
That was wonderful. Thanks.
Thank you, little miss.
I don't want to be with Frank.
One could see that would create a complication.
Yes.
But the answer's staring you in the face. Marry your friend. What?
Well, he's not. I mean, a relationship between us would be impossible, really. It could never work out.
Why?
Well, because he's not. Because he'll never be.
Yes? Is something wrong?
No.
Yeah.
All right, so here's what's going on, right? The robot is like the nanny or whatever for the little kid, and the kid grows up, and then they start having a ambiguously platonic relationship. You know what I'm saying? It's this is bordering on, Woody Allen creepy. You know what I'm saying? And they didn't. The way they handled it, fully functional. Yeah, he becomes fully functional later on. Spoiler. At this point, he's not, but clearly emotional. But it just was kind of creepy to me, But they didn't. It didn't go there, right? She went off and married this other guy, and that didn't happen. But the way they handled it, and this is a spoiler, by the way, this woman, who was Little Miss, right, was a little kid. The little kid grew up while the robot was there all the time. She ends up marrying a guy, and they have kids, and then her. You know what? I'll actually just play that clip. I think I've got it in here, rather than it's a spoiler. So be careful if you don't want the thing spoiled. I'm gonna see if I can find that clip. Oh, here it is. Okay, yeah. All right, I'll play that clip. Hang on just a second. Here we go.
No.
Yes.
But Andrew's a robot.
Yes, I am. Well, now an android.
He's had an upgrade.
I know that.
Oh.
Hello.
Hello. It is you. You know him? Yes.
You know me?
Yes.
Who are you?
I'm Little Miss.
No.
Yes.
That's Little Miss.
No.
No?
No.
No?
No. That's Portia.
Portia.
Yes.
Portia?
Yes.
Who's Portia?
My granddaughter.
Your granddaughter?
Yes.
Is this some kind of trick?
No.
Your little miss?
Yes.
Then what right do you have to look like her? There is, and can be, only one little miss.
Really?
Yes.
It's a genetic resemblance, Andrew. Sometimes it skips a generation.
I don't care. I don't like it.
I can see that. But if you took a moment, which I see you're not inclined to do right now, you'd realize Portia and I are very different people.
All right, so here's what they did, right? Spoiler. I don't know when Woody Allen did. I forget now with the timing with Woody Allen, and if you're not familiar with the story with Woody Allen, he was in a relationship with a woman who had adopted a daughter, and so I think they were living together. I don't know, but he was like almost like a stepdad to this kid, and ended up basically having a relationship with the kid. And when the kid grew up, it became a real a romantic relationship, and he actually married the kid when the kid grew up. So it was very creepy, right? He was like her stepfather almost. They weren't actually married, so he wasn't officially her stepdaughter, but it was just really creepy, and people questioned it, and so I don't know when that happened, time-wise. I don't remember when that happened. I don't know when this movie was made, if that was in people's consciousness or not, but it was when I saw this, it was a very, similar situation, right? Robin Williams as the robot was like a nanny to the kid. The kid grew up. The kid had feelings for the robot, and probably vice versa, but they didn't go there, right? They didn't go there with the actual kid. But what happened? The kid grew up. This is the kid, right? This is the kid all grown up, 50 years later or whatever. And she has a granddaughter who looks just like the way the kid did when it grew up. So he ends up having a relationship with the granddaughter instead of the little kid that grew up that he was the nanny to. So they kind of worked around it that way, the creepiness part of it, and they were able to get the narrative to work without it being creepy. So I just thought that was kind of interesting, that whole thing, how that worked out. And spoiler again. Well, I don't know. I'll show you a couple more clips, and I'll show you where that relationship goes.
And I forget to do the simple ordinary things that everyone ought to do. I'm living in a kind of daydream. I'm happy as a king.
Okay, so they, right, that's the granddaughter, right? And they end up falling in love, and I think they have sex right after this. That robot repairman or whatever that was upgrading him gave him an upgrade to make him fully functional. Yeah, not reproductive, but And let me see if there's something else in here that I wanted to comment on. No, not on this one. Okay. So they end up doing their thing. Now this next clip is earlier in the film when he is looking. He's different than the other robots because he has emotions. He's kind of human-like, and he wants to find another robot that's like him, that is special like he is. And he goes all over the world looking for this special robot, and he ends up finding this female robot. And here's the scene where they do that, where he discovers this other robot.
Thank you. What you want, baby, I got it. What you need, you know I got it. All I'm asking is for a little respect. Just a little bit, hey, baby, just a little bit. Just a little bit.
All right. So they he finds this robot, and it seems like the robot has emotions and is more human, right? And it turns out that it's not. It's like a fake. It has a program that makes it that way, and it's really not feeling emotions and doing stuff at this point in the movie. I'll have some other comments about what was going on there in a little bit. I'm gonna later on. In a few minutes here, I'm gonna talk about representation, some other things about what's going on there. So I'll talk about that a little bit. So let me see what my next clip is here. Okay, I'll start talking about that now. About representation in the film. Usually, when I do it, when I review a film, I talk about how well it treats women and people of color and so forth, and how inclusive it is, and how it represents people of color and women and stuff like that. So I'm going to do that now. I'll play a scene here. This is the woman getting married. Let's see, which one is this? I forget which. Oh, this is the Miss, the little daughter, the one that he actually raised from a little kid. The original one is getting married here. And just take a look at all the people in the church and everything in terms of representation. You know, how many people of color there are, and etc.
Mr. and Mrs. Frank Charney.
Yeah, so there weren't any. There weren't any people of color, and for the first more than an hour of the movie, they didn't have a single black person that I saw anywhere, even an extra or anything in the film, anywhere. And a lot of times, what movies will do, if they do include people of color, movies that are where they're racially biased. They will either just not include black people, or if they do include black people, they will marginalize them. Sometimes they will literally put them at the edges of the frame in a scene. In this film here, they just excluded black people entirely for the first hour or so of the film. And another thing they do is they don't include black people as friends or family of white people. So in this scene here, right, this is friends and family, people who are very close to the bride or groom here, who are white people, and there are no black people. So in other words, this main character here, this woman who is one of the main characters, has no black friends, is what they're saying, So that's not good. So now I'm gonna play the scene where the first scene in the film where they actually included black people, and I'll point out a few things that are very subtle. But I'll play it first and just try to see if you can figure out what's going on.
I have learned of an NDR robot that has recently been rebuilt back home in San Francisco.
All right. So notice what's going on here. First, I'll point out a few things that I noticed. This sign up here, and this happened a couple times in this film. And this may just be a coincidence. I don't know. But they got bananas here, okay? And they do that. A lot of films going all the way back to the 70s will associate bananas with black people. And they also say here in this sign here, it says genetically engineered. There are a couple scenes in here. They don't have a lot of black people in this film, but in two places where they did show black people, more prominently, they talked about genetics. So I thought that might be a coincidence. Maybe the bananas are a coincidence too. I don't know. But another part of this whole thing here, remember, this is the first time they show black people in this film. This is the first scene that has black people in it. They come down here and they show chains, right, really prominently in the foreground here. So I didn't like that either. So, maybe that's all a coincidence. I don't know. Maybe it's a coincidence, but I don't think so. It happens too often in these films, all the time, So, all right, let me play another scene here. I'll play this scene again. You got it again.
I have learned of an NDR robot that has recently been rebuilt back home in San Francisco.
Here's another scene. This is a scene where they were dancing, right? This is later on in the film. That scene that I just showed was the first scene that had black people in it, which was over an hour into the film. This is another scene that included a few black people, but look, it's still, anyway, I'll just play it and you can just look at it. Okay, so that was two scenes that I played back to back. It's the same scene in the film, right? The same setting or whatever. But I kind of cut it there just because it was a real long film, a really long scene, and I didn't want to play the whole thing. But they show this scene here, and the black people that they did show in this social situation, in other words, mixing white people with black people, were not very prominent. If you saw them, they weren't very prominent here. But the one black person that is very prominent, that they make very prominent, is the singer, and you'll see that a lot in film. Especially around this time period, for a lot of films, even into today, actually, they will not just marginalize black people to certain roles and stuff like that. They did it here. They show black people entertaining white people, right? And that's kind of what's going on here. And that's something that's. If you've ever seen the movie Vanilla Sky, if you've ever seen that film, take a look at that film and look for inclusion and if there are any black people in that film. There's one black character in the film, and then there's another. Anyway, this is something that they do. It's one of the. They would show black people. They used to only show black people as, criminals and janitors and stuff like that. And then they moved on, and then they only showed black people in certain roles, like roles that served or entertained white people, like singers or entertainers and things like that. I think they're better now, though. I don't know. Let's see what else we got. Okay, this is further on, but let's see here. So here's a black guy, but and he's in the foreground. That's good. But I think that's a black woman too. I don't know. I don't know if they show any white people dancing with black people. There's a white person and a black person dancing, I think. So. But it's kind of sparse. It's not very noticeable, This is at the end of the scene also. That's another thing they do when they go to a new setting or a new scene. They will show all white people in the first scene or the initial part of the scene, and then slowly maybe show some black people later on. But they try to get the impression, the first impression of a setting or a scene is all white people, and that's what they try to do, Okay, new thing here. Okay, this is that World Congress or whatever, where he's going in to talk to him, and it looks like it's still mostly white, Here, yeah. There's a black person in the back row. Right, but all these people are white. Wait. Can you see that? Can you see my little pointer there? Yeah. So they got one black guy here out on the margin, second to the last row. They got this guy in the back row, black guy, and all this. And I don't know if I got it or not, but this guy here is like a. Here, let me see if I got that scene. I'll just play this with the sound. We'll watch it and we'll talk about it. I'll talk about it.
Declaring you a human being.
Yes. Specifically, the ability to marry a fellow human being.
I see. We have to, that no matter how much you may be like a human being, you are not part of the human gene pool. You are outside of it entirely. You are something else.
So that was a scene where they were. They show this guy, and they actually show this black guy in the background, and he's talking about being a human being, doing all that kind of stuff. That might be a coincidence. I don't know. I didn't like it. Let's see. Okay, this is later on.
I've always tried to make sense of things.
Why do you want this?
To be acknowledged for who and what I am. No more, no less. Not for acclaim, not for approval. The simple truth of that recognition. This has been the elemental drive of my existence, and it must be achieved if I am to live or die with dignity.
Mr. Martin, what you are asking for is extremely complex and controversial. It will not be an easy decision. I must ask for your patience while I take the necessary time to make a determination of this extremely delicate matter.
And I await your decision, Madam Chairman. Thank you for your patience. We tried.
Okay, so that showed a black person more prominently. So that was good. I noticed that a lot of times they put people of color, women and people of color, as judges a lot. I'm not sure why they do that, but that happens a lot. But she was delivering bad news here to the protagonist. So that happens a lot too. A lot of times when bad news needs to be delivered to a protagonist, they'll have a person of color do that, or a woman or a person of color do that. This makeup here, look at that. Look how well done that is, man. I mean, he really looks like an old person, and Robin Williams did a really good job acting too, like an old person. You know what I mean? And he's a young person here, right? This is 1999. He wasn't that old, and he did a really good job. Looking like an old person, acting like an old person, and the makeup and everything. I thought that was really well done there. And then at the ending, they have one more scene here where this same black woman finally gives them the good news, but she does it not in person, it's on a TV screen. And I noticed they do that a lot in movies. They did that in Back to the Future. I think it was the second. No, it was the first or second. Yeah, the second Back to the Future. They had a black person that they had to bring back for the narrative, and instead of showing them live, they showed them on a TV screen. And so they'll do that a lot. And here she's delivering the good news, but it's on a TV screen. So I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna play this because there's another part of this thing. This is a big spoiler here, okay? So if you're watching this, spoiler. All right. Here we go.
President of the World Congress. According to records of the Northam Robotics Company, the robot, also known as Andrew Martin, was powered up at 5:15 p.m. on April 3rd, 2005. In a few hours, he will be 200 years old, which means that, with the exception of Methuselah and other biblical figures, Andrew is the oldest living human being in recorded history. For it is by this proclamation that I validate his marriage to Portia Charney and acknowledge his humanity.
Okay, so they right. She gave good news that time, right? Or whether what he was trying to get to be recognized as human or whatever. So he did that. He died. He didn't hear it. All right. Spoiler again. Spoiler. This is another spoiler. This is the nurse that's taking care of those two as they're dying, right? Now watch what happens here. And this is pretty cool. Yeah, this is a spoiler. So if you haven't seen the movie and you want to see the movie, this is a spoiler. You don't want to see this.
I'm sorry he didn't see it.
Maybe he didn't need to. me a favor? Would you mind unplugging me? That's an order. Thank you, Galadea.
As the great Andrew Martin used to say, one is glad to be of service.
Okay, so she, this nurse here is, spoiler again if you're just tuning in. This nurse here is that robot. Remember the robot that was dancing to Aretha Franklin earlier on? This is the robot. She got upgraded to be more human. So that's one surprise thing going on here. The other thing is that the woman who is a human, right? This woman told her to kill her, to shut her off, right? Euthanize her. If this robot was following the 3 laws, she would not obey that order, right? That's the way the 3 laws work. The robot isn't supposed to do anything to kill any human or bring human harm. And then the second law is that they're supposed to follow a human's order unless it conflicts with the first law. And this human here ordered her to kill her, to euthanize her. And if this robot here was following the laws, she would not do it, but she did do it, which meant that she is no longer a robot, right? She's human now, or whatever. It's beyond servitude. Although she says she's being of service, So I thought that whole thing was pretty cool. That's the ending. You know which one I'm talking about here, right? Let's see, 1735. Where is that? This one, right? That's the same. That's the same robot. This one here. That's Galilea or whatever her name is. Galilea. That's this nurse upgraded, right? So that was kind of interesting. So that's the whole thing. Pretty good film. They did include black people, but it wasn't. I didn't think the rep was all that good. But in terms of cinematography, production design was really good. The effects, the narrative was good. Acting was really good. So, it's worth watching. But just be aware that it's got bias in it, racial bias, just like 90% of Hollywood films do, unfortunately. So, all right. So, that was Bicentennial Man. All right. What I'm going to do now is... I'm going to type something in here. Let's see if that worked. Okay, I don't think that worked. I'm gonna try something here, really quick. If you give me a second on the technicals here. Let's see if that works. Huh. That didn't seem to work either. All right, just give me a second here on the technicals. Sorry. Oh, I know what I'm doing wrong here. Stand by. Stand by. Oh, man. All right. That didn't work. I'm getting closer though. I think I'm gonna get it here. Okay, I was gonna raid Chan, but it says his settings don't allow me to raid him. So maybe because I don't have enough. I only have 2 people. I know what. Let me raid Ducky. That's what I'll do. Let's raid Ducky. All right, this will take a second here. I appreciate you sticking around for the stream. If you're watching this on the VOD, make sure you get over to Twitch and follow me. I'd appreciate it. And I may make this into an actual video, you know, trim it down, make it a little bit more presentable as a video. You know, and upload that to Twitch or something. I don't know. Okay, so we're off. We're going to Big Ducky Snow's stream. Thank you everybody for coming. Let me put roll my credits here, and then we'll be off to raid Big Ducky Snow. Thank you for joining the stream. Thank you for putting up with the technical errors and all that. We'll see you over on the other side.